During my discussions with African leaders, I feel that we can mainly focus on the building and working together on three major networks. Number one, a high-speed rail network in Africa. A few days ago, when I was talking to AU Commission Chairperson Zuma, she mentioned Africa's dream of the century, that is to build a high-speed rail network connecting all African capitals. Africa accounts for about 23% of the world's land masses, but only 7% of the total railway mileage, with 13 countries having no rail links at all. China is ready to respond to the African vision and work with Africa in comprehensive cooperation with regard to the engineering, equipment, design, planning, and management of high-speed rail, and is ready to set up R&D centers for high-speed rail in Africa to facilitate your century projects. As a first step, we can start with sub-regions first. Second, an African expressway network. Right now, the intensity of highway and expressway in Africa is only just 1/4 and 1/10 of the world's average. This means great potential for development. Several African leaders have expressed the wish of expanding expressway cooperation with China and building an expressway network in Africa. China supports such aspirations. We would like to strengthen cooperation with Africa and promote the gradual link-up of this network. Third, the creation of an African regional aviation network. Africa has seen its aviation market demands expanding rapidly. However, it lacks airports, air routes, especially regional operation capacity. So there is an acute problem of inconnectivity for commercial interactions. While China has the experience and capacity in the construction and the management of airports, the feeder jets developed by China can meet African needs. So China proposes a China-Africa Regional Aviation Cooperation Plan by setting up aviation joint ventures, providing civilian feeder jets, training aviation professionals, and building supporting facilities. We will promote the regional aviation industry in Africa. In addition to all these, we are also ready to enhance our cooperation with Africa in terms of power generation, telecommunication, and other infrastructures. To do a handy job, one needs handy tools. China, in order to build an infrastructure network in Africa, China is ready to provide financing, technical and human resources support. We will increase investment and financing in Africa. We will provide or add $10 billion to the committed Chinese credit line to African countries to reach a total of $30 billion. We will also put another $2 billion into the China-Africa Development Fund to make it $5 billion. We will also make good use of special loans, financing funds, commercial loans, and other modes of capital. China will comprehensively advance the African Talent Plan, under which we will provide 18,000 government scholarships to Africa and train 30,000 professionals of various types. In addition, through corporate training and courses offered by Confucius Institutes, we will train more professionals for Africa. The Chinese government means what it says. Here, I wish to emphasize that China's cooperation with African countries is sincere and open. For the advanced and applicable technologies and managerial expertise developed by China, we are ready to share with African countries without reservation. For all the projects constructed or operated by China, we can all do it through joint ventures or cooperatives with Africa. China is also ready to strengthen collaboration with international organizations in the relevant countries and under the principle of African consent, African needs, and African participation, explore trilateral or multilateral cooperation in Africa and jointly contribute to Africa's development. The key to Africa's rejuvenation lies in the development of its industries. We support proper labor-intensive industries in China to relocate to Africa on a priority basis, and support Chinese companies to be localized here to increase non-agricultural jobs in African countries, especially jobs catered to the young people. A few days ago, I visited projects invested by Chinese companies in Ethiopia. There, local staff account for 90% of all employees. We're happy to see this. This is exactly what the Chinese government would like to see. At the same time, we support Africa raising its food output and develop efficient agricultural processing industry. China is also ready to share and provide seeding technologies without reservation. We would also like to facilitate Africa's energy and resources sector's transformation, extending into downstreams, and raise the proportion of localized processing of Africans' resources so as to translate Africa's resources into self-generated capacity. If you really treat others' concerns as your own concerns, you should meet their pressing needs. That's how we Chinese treat others. Though China is still a developing country, anyway, we have already become a major economy in the world. China will continue to do what it can to expand its assistance to Africa, both in quantity and in quality. We will direct over half of China's foreign assistance in Africa. And prioritize such areas badly needed by Africa, such as poverty reduction, agriculture, health, clean water, and disaster prevention and mitigation, and do more to help African countries and peoples to address their needs. China will continue to send medical teams to Africa who will be working in both hospitals and village clinics. Let me reiterate that all of China's assistance to Africa will have no political strings attached. We will not interfere in African countries' internal affairs or ask something impossible of Africa. To pursue development and environmental conservation is crucially important. We will focus on cooperation in green and low-carbon development, urge Chinese companies in Africa to fulfill their social responsibilities, and ask them to strictly observe local environmental laws. Crack down hard on illegal activities such as rosewood and ivory smuggling. The Chinese government will provide $10 million in grants to Africa to be spent on preservation of African wildlife, to preserve Africa's biodiversity, and promote Africa's sustainable development. This is also protecting the biodiversity of the whole world.